Hello and welcome to the Father and Son Formula One podcast. I'm the father in the title, Graham Miller, and here's my son, Toby.
Hello.
We kind of had a bit of a perfect storm, really. Toby's just landed himself a job, which means he's kind of busy Monday to Friday, on top of which we had a double header of Belgium into Hungary, and shockingly, it being August, we went away on holiday.
Yeah.
Even more understandably, the holiday was a field full of old cars.
Yeah.
And we got to watch the Grand Prix on the Sunday for Hungary.
Yes.
Even while we were on holiday, so it was all good. But that does mean, even though we're deep in the middle of August, we are going to go back in time to the end of July and talk about the Belgium Grand Prix weekend.
Yeah, so we'll do both in this one episode, because thankfully they weren't actually particularly interesting races.
I mean, Belgium promised a lot, because for a start it was a sprint weekend.
Yeah.
And as I've said before, I love sprint weekends now because you get one free practice and then it's all competitive sessions.
Yeah, I think the lack of free practice is the kind of redeeming feature because it does result in a lot of chaos. I remember even back in the olden days of 2018-19, whenever a practice session was heavily affected, I remember they cancelled some or they had rain in some, the race was always a bit more unpredictable. And we sort of picked up on that, I think.
And also, to add to it all, they forecast, and they were right, rain over the weekend as well.
Yeah.
So kind of whatever you learned about the tyres, and more particularly about how the tyres worked with the track and the particular surface, was almost useless by the time you actually got into the race.
Yeah, it promised to be a fun weekend overall.
And I think it was. It just wasn't that dramatic.
Yeah, it just, obviously there's the problems with the rain and stuff.
Yeah.
And the current cars in the rain. But we'll get to that, I guess.
I'm just looking. Free practice was kind of the most predictable ever. It was Piastri, Verstappen, Norris, all within half a second.
Actually, yeah, the top 7 being, the top 4 teams.
Exactly what you'd expect.
Minus Tsunoda.
Who was 2.5 seconds off the pace.
Yeah.
But in free practice, you can kind of almost say, well, that's... he's probably running a different program.
Actually, 2x2 further down, the Aston Martins were together. The Williamses and the Saubers were together. Absolutely no shocks whatsoever.
No, it really wasn't. I mean, I think Aston Martin are coming on quite well.
Yeah, they had a really good race in Hungary, not to get ahead of ourselves.
Yeah. Though actually, apparently, I can't remember who, but one of the people inside Aston Martin is kind of almost saying it's a bit annoying having Adrian Newey working on the 2026 car because we're making good progress, but I just imagine where we'd be if we put Newey on this car.
Yeah.
So,
but then they've only got half a season left.
Yeah, and
it's like delayed gratification. It does make sense to actually, to wait for next season, especially with the reg shake-up. It's not actually unreasonable to think Aston Martin could have the fastest car next year.
Which would be interesting because Alonso's good, but he's getting old.
Yeah, he is starting to slow down a bit.
And Stroll is not the strongest driver on the grid, shall we say.
On the other hand, Alonso won in 2006, his second championship.
Yeah.
I think 20 years would be easily the longest gap between championships. It would be an unbelievable statistic.
It would have to be like a Red Bull 23 or a McLaren 88 kind of level of...
Well, it kind of doesn't have to be. If the other cars are sort of not quite there...
Yeah.
It could be seasons like 2012, which were just utter carnage until Vettel just won.
Yeah.
But it might just be... Yeah, it's very unlikely, but it's not impossible.
Sprint qualifying.
Yes. Antonelli had a moment, didn't he?
Yeah, the big shock. Yeah, Antonelli had a moment. Lewis just went out in P18.
Well, he had a rear brake locking
Yeah.
going into the final corner, and everyone was like, even I think Martin Brundle was like, no one will be more surprised by that than Hamilton.
He said it's never happened in his career. Now,
yeah,
we were talking before this. I'm going to say what I'm going to say, and you probably read the same articles.
Yes.
Apparently, Lewis is very good at trail braking.
Right.
Which is the traditional approach that's taught to racing drivers who are just coming off the road and going onto the track.
Yeah.
Is that you brake on the straight approaching a corner, and then as you start to turn the wheel, you come off the brakes and power through the corner for the most stability.
Yeah.
In actual fact, that works for road drivers as well. It's a very good approach.
Yeah, I mean, I've noticed myself doing that, and it's like, it's kind of fun actually. If you kind of push the limits a bit, you do feel like a racing driver.
But even if you don't push the limits, it is the safest way.
Yeah.
But when you get beyond that, obviously to Formula One drivers, you get this thing called trail braking, especially as they have separate accelerator and brake pedals, one on each foot.
Yes.
Which is where they're actually very gently braking through most of the corner. And what they do is they use the brakes to adjust the attitude of the car, so the more you brake, the more the nose dips.
Yeah.
So they can actually use the brakes and the throttle to adjust how the weight of the car is and how much is front wheel and rear wheel.
Yeah. And that kind of helps turn it almost like when they put loads of power on and spin up the rear tyres and get it sliding.
But apparently Lewis is very, very good at this.
Well, what isn't he good at, let's be honest.
Yeah. But in the Ferrari, and in particular the Ferrari under the current regs with ground effect, what that tends to do is lift the rear, probably again related to the fact they're running higher because they have plank wear problems.
Yeah.
And then it breaks the aero on the rear diffuser.
Mm.
It actually kind of...
it stalls it out.
Stalls it, that's the word, thank you.
Yeah.
And that's why an awful lot, if you look... I mean, this is actually not just like a armchair hack theory. A lot of the people are saying it are racing drivers who've gone over, like almost frame by frame, Hamilton's approach to corners and what's going wrong.
Yeah.
So they actually... It's not quite such a kind of nutty theory.
Yeah.
And once the rear diffuser stalls, you get things like spinning in a corner.
Oversteer.
Yeah, I can remember a lot of four-wheel slides which shouldn't have happened. But also then I think it dents his confidence. He doesn't know quite how to throw it into a corner.
Yeah, because his idea of throwing it into a corner is when he had the super stable Mercedes, he'd be trail braking maybe a bit more to just keep it in check.
Yeah.
But when he does that in the Ferrari, he chucks it in, trail braking, and then it goes, which just must make no sense to him.
But also Norris has said one of the things he's learned is he used to go in and go, right, it's qualifying, hit 100%, absolutely rag it, try and edge it over the limit a bit and gather it up. And he's now said, I've learned that if you actually try and drive at 95 or even 90% of the grip that's available and what the car can cope with, you actually end up qualifying higher.
Yeah.
And I think people like, looking down the list, certainly Hamilton and Alonso are old enough that they just remember the, like the Singapore qualifying lap he did that was just like...
Yeah, like dancing on the edge of the possibility.
Yeah, but that's not how the modern cars are. They're cars of tyre management and
they don't
battery management.
You don't want to get the tyres off the edge before the lap's finished.
Yeah,
which is crazy.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the Pirelli soft tyres actually go off over one lap.
I mean, yeah, Hamilton and Alonso would have driven the old cars before KERS, before DRS, before even before they had mandated pit stops, so the tyres were hard enough to last a whole race.
Yeah.
And they would have just gone, right, how fast can we go?
I think probably Hulkenberg's probably in that group as well.
Yeah, actually, now that you mention it, Hulkenberg's like the third oldest driver on the grid now, isn't he?
Easily, yeah. There's a lot of new... Well, obviously there's 6 new drivers, but a lot of them are this, like, 17 to 19 class, like Norris, Leclerc, even Ocon, Gasly, Tsunoda, Albon. When did Russell come in?
Yeah, same, 2019. Same as Norris and Albon. But I think, Hulkenberg's actually been beaten by Bortoletto in qualifying now.
Yeah.
But despite the fact that he's got better racecraft and experience, I think you're right, actually. His qualifying isn't as good because he's used to the old ways.
I'm going to go off on a huge tangent now.
As if we haven't already.
Yeah. So, obviously, all my feeds know that I love Formula One, but we're recording this in the summer breaks. There's nothing for them to talk about.
Yeah, it gets particularly chronic during the summer break.
So I looked this was a clickbaity article, but I did go back and check it in various places.
Yeah.
1982.
Oh, brilliant season.
Yeah, but on the Formula One, no, not Formula One, on the Formula Ford and European 2-litre single-seater championship.
Yes, how could I have forgotten the Formula Ford 1982 series?
Yeah, a young driver called Ayrton da Silva turned up from Brazil.
Ah.
And he did things like the first 6 races he won with pole position and with fastest lap.
Yeah.
In the British arm of it, he won 15 of the 17 available races.
God.
Including racing at 2 separate tracks on the same day.
Blimey.
But the one I want to tell you about was at Snetterton.
Yeah.
There was an accident in front of him. He ran over debris and he wiped out his front brakes.
Yeah.
So initially he drove round a few laps with no front brakes, kind of figuring out how to use crashing down gears to slow the car down.
Like engine braking.
And to affect the weight of it through the corners, like we were saying about trail braking, affecting the front to rear weight. And he lost a few places. And then guess what happened?
He got them back.
He started making up places.
With no front brakes.
0. In the end, he won the race, came into the pits, got out and told the mechanics.
Yeah.
And the mechanics just looked at him and said,
"What do you mean?" Yeah,
and he said, "Yeah." And they went over and the front brake discs were stone cold.
God, they hadn't been used.
Yeah. But just the sheer amount of... I mean, they said nearly every other driver on the grid would have just pulled off into the pits and gone, "Yeah, I'm out."
Yeah.
I mean, even the kind of thought of just doing it and thinking, "Oh, let's just see if I can drive this." Never mind trying to win the race. Like I say, most people would just go, "Yeah, no, I'm out of this."
Yeah, I mean, to be fair, if it's a lower series, the cars are probably going to be less powerful and a bit lighter. So you can kind of understand it might be a bit more...
doable.
Yeah, but yeah, you are right, that is utterly bonkers.
But also then not to just literally pile straight ahead at the first corner where you've got half the braking force you were expecting under your foot.
Yeah, actually, you're right. Most drivers would have gone, the rear brakes have failed, I'm in the wall.
Yeah.
Well, the front brakes have failed, I'm in the wall now.
Yeah.
Or I'm off the track.
And obviously, if our listeners don't know, he then changed his name because Da Silva was his father's surname, but it's incredibly common in Brazil, so he picked his mother's name, which was Senna.
Yeah, because it's a Spanish name, so his full name is actually Ayrton Senna da Silva.
Yeah.
Like, Alonso's full name is Fernando Alonso Diaz. And Sainz has 15 names or something ridiculous.
You mean Carlos Sainz Vasquez de Castro?
Yeah. It's just how they do it, but they just choose the first name, which is in Portuguese, which is how Senna's name is. The first one is the maternal.
Yeah.
So his mother's name.
But also, apparently he actually went home that summer to turn up to pick up the family business, and then the team that he raced for in Formula Ford offered him £10,000 to race, so he came back to Britain.
Wow.
And then, like I say, the first 6 races were pole position, fastest lap, and win.
Yeah.
At which point, I think everybody else in that series probably went, "Oh no."
Yeah, they probably went, "What's the point?"
Yeah, they probably went, "Oh, we're watching a legend."
Yeah, actually, I do wonder, if you're a Formula 3 driver, let's say you're going in that one season where there was Ocon, Stroll and Verstappen in the same season.
Yeah.
And you're just some bloke who's absolutely pushing the limits to even match them in Formula 3. Do you think, wow, I'm racing against future F1 drivers? Or do you think, damn, I'm not actually that good? and it's kind of annoying.
Yeah, I've got no idea actually how.
The psychology of it is very interesting.
Yeah,
It's like we've talked about what's it like to be a kind of a Bottas level driver.
yeah.
It's like, you're good, you can win a race and that's really good, but you'll never be a champion. Partly just because you're racing against, the people like Hamilton.
I mean, I've heard some of them interviewed, and I think the general approach is they don't care. They're racing the fastest cars in the world on the premium stage. I mean, if they go into any bar and go, "Oh, what do you do for a living?" if they're trying to catch somebody up or talking to their mates, it's like, "Oh, I'm a Formula One driver." Nobody's ever going to go, "Oh, yeah, but you're not a world champion," or, "Well, you're hardly Schumacher."
If they want to chat someone up, they just wait for someone to actually recognise them. They wouldn't even have to say anything. They just go, "Oh, yeah, it's me. I'm Grosjean," or whatever.
Yeah, even if you're like a Hulkenberg or an Albon or somebody, it's still like...
Yeah.
And also, don't forget, even the lowest ones are being paid literally $1 million a season.
I think the lowest I've ever seen was, like, maybe Sargent was getting $750k a year, which is pretty rubbish if you think about it. I mean...
But on the other hand, on like a normal human level, that's a vast amount of money.
I know, yeah, I was kind of joking, like...
And for like 20, 25 weekends of the year, they're getting flown around the world, staying in hotels.
Yeah, but it is also kind of stressful in a way.
Yeah, I think Bottas has spoken about the stress that he would never be brilliant. And the fact that even if he had a good race, he'd be waiting for the Valtteri exchange in his ear.
Well, there's that, but also if you're like a sergeant at a lower team, it's like the team's performance and the bonus points, they sort of depend entirely on you, in a way.
Yeah.
And also your own performance and whether or not you get a job next year. Especially if you're not super rich like a Stroll and you've got it set.
Yeah.
It must be quite kind of... I mean, the job security is actually not particularly great.
We've talked about the Aston Martin Sauber RB Haas battle.
Yeah.
And that really is a battle for money.
Yeah, and it is the point where, like, the Hulken podium, firstly of all, amazing for Hulkenberg, but also, privately, Sauber must be thinking, that's earned us, like, several $1 million. If we can just stick in that position...
I mean, 15 points for Sauber.
Right now they're 7th, and they are 1 point behind Aston Martin in 6th.
Yeah, this is post Hungary points.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So so a single position, if Bortoleto can overtake Stroll, Aston Martin are thinking, well, there's another 5 million.
Yeah, but I mean, that podium put them from 36 up to 51, which put them from around Haas in 8th, 9th, up to 7th. So that would have been probably tens of millions in prize money and everything else.
And sponsorships.
Yeah.
I mean, also sponsorships just because they got their sponsors on the podium, which, if they're sponsoring a Sauber, they must not have been expecting, to be honest.
No.
So it is, I mean, I think we've got massively off topic, to be honest.
Yeah.
We should probably try and wrangle it back to the race since we haven't got that much time.
Yeah, so the sharp end of sprint qualifying, Piastri, Verstappen, front row, Norris, Leclerc. You see, this is the problem. The Ferrari kind of works.
It does when Leclerc's driving it, yeah.
But he's kind of grown up with the team, so...
It's almost a bit of a Verstappen problem.
Yeah. But also I think there's a fundamental problem with ride height, and everybody else has said this on the Ferrari.
Well, even Leclerc has said this now.
Yeah.
You know, we'll talk about the Hungary thing in a sec, I guess.
Yeah. Williams has doing really well in the sprint.
Yeah, well,
and Alpine.
Ocon was doing qualifying in 5th. That was a bit of a... Ocon had a really, really low downforce, didn't he?
Yeah.
So every now and then you'd see Ocon would purple the first sector because it's basically just the Kemmel Straight. Yeah. You think, like, what the hell's going on there? And then he'd have, like, fairly average second and third sectors and end up in sort of the middle.
Hold on a minute.
Whereas Behrman was the opposite. He had higher downforce, so he wouldn't necessarily purple any sectors, but he'd still put in a good time. It's sort of different philosophies.
Yeah. Actually, in sprint qualifying, Antonelli and Hamilton were out in Q1. And then Russell and Tsunoda were out in Q2, and then there was lots of space in Q3 for the people like Behrman and Hadjar.
So Hadjar... Oh, and Bortoletto as well.
Yeah.
Who, since Austria, has been honestly kind of amazing.
Yeah, Bortoletto is starting to attract attention, very definitely.
Because I think he's kind of the dark horse, because before the season began, they signed Antonelli and that was big news. They signed Behrman and everyone was like, that's cool, because he's, they saw him race already. Hadjar, they knew from F2 and they didn't really... And he had part of the Red Bull machine.
Yeah.
But then Bortoletto, I think people who watched F2 and saw him win were excited because they knew he was good. But he didn't get that much press outside of that.
Also, doing well in F2 doesn't necessarily translate to Formula 1. There's been a lot of people who've shone in F2 and then just...
Yeah, Nick de Vries won the F2 championship.
Yeah.
And then he had like a half a season or something at RB and just floundered.
Yeah, it's really easy to do.
But Bortoletto is the real deal, I think.
Yeah, a lot of people are saying, oh my god, Bortoletto, so...
Yeah.
But also, you see, it's what actually Max was saying, you need to be in the lower order and make mistakes.
Yeah?
He really relished his time at, what were they, Toro Rosso?
Toro Rosso, yeah.
Because he could make mistakes, which he did, and crash cars, which he did.
But he also had, occasionally, he had like amazing moves and stuff that people went, hold on a second.
Yeah. But Bortoletto's in the same position. Nobody's expecting that Sauber to do anything. He's got through probably half the season completely under the radar without people going, oh, why did he do that? Oh, he's just in a fast car. And...
Yeah, if Antonelli spins, because Antonelli's obviously the antithesis going straight into a top car.
Yeah.
And he's even younger than Bortoletto.
Yeah.
He's being super
observed
under the microscope. Whereas Bortoletto can spin and everyone's like, well, he would have been 18th, now he's 20th. Oh,
yeah.
well. But then when he does well, it's even more like, oh, interesting.
Now, in the actual sprint,
yes,
almost immediately, I think, in the first few corners, Max got the jump on Oscar Piastri. I remember this.
Yeah, it was the Camel Straight, like La Source thing. You just get a better exit on the first corner and you've got it. Because the slipstream is so powerful.
Well, people were saying that, but I was actually also thinking, Verstappen is not afraid to crash, let's just put it that way. He's quite aggressive. Piastri was a handful of points away, I can't remember what the points were at the time, probably 7 or 8 points away from Norris.
Yeah.
He knows he's got Norris behind him. What exactly is his incentive to go wheel to wheel with Verstappen and vigorously defend first place in a sprint?
Yeah.
I think he is actually calculating enough to go, I just want to get to the end of this race.
Also, if it's a sprint, it's 1 point.
Yeah.
It's not worth... if he crashes, it's an 8-point deficit, but if he doesn't, it's a 1-point deficit to the guy who's in third.
Yeah, or if he wipes out with Verstappen, it's a 7 or 8 point deficit immediately to Norris.
But if he wipes out with Verstappen, he loses to Norris. Whereas he can keep Norris behind. That's more important.
Yeah.
And I think Piastri's got that. He's got a cool enough head to make that decision.
I think it also wouldn't surprise me that Verstappen is calculating enough to go, I'll just try and hang it out a bit because I don't reckon Piastri will fight me that hard.
Yeah, at that level, I do think they are thinking that in the car.
Yeah.
Which is ridiculous, considering that if either of us tried to drive an F1 car, we'd be totally overwhelmed and then crash.
Well, I still can't believe they've got sub-menus on their steering wheels.
Yeah, well, we did see with Mazepin, he was actually struggling to change the settings at some points.
Yeah.
Which I think was when a lot of people sat up and went, hang on, he's actually really bad.
Oh god, what was the first time Hamilton went out in a Ferrari? Was it K7 or something?
Yeah. K6? Some setting, and they kept telling him, and he was like, I don't know where that is.
Yeah.
Also, he's like, just leave me alone.
Yes.
Yeah.
So the sprint, Verstappen won, because, again, after that, Piastri was all over him. He finished 3/4 of a second back.
Yeah, he might as well stay in his mirrors and see if he can force him into a mistake.
Although this is Max Verstappen.
But also, getting DRS and slipstream to stay ahead of Norris was probably more his priority there.
Yeah. Yeah, certainly getting the DRS would have been a big priority. He kept Norris 1.4 behind, so he had DRS where Norris didn't.
Yeah. And apart from that, nothing really changed further back.
No, Hamilton had the most forgettable race ever.
Why did Gasly DNF?
I can't remember.
But Bortoletto 1 place outside the points. Ocon at 5th is actually pretty significant.
Well, considering how bad the Alpine has been.
Haas.
Oh, Ocon,
He's in a Haas now, yeah. He was in an Alpine last year.
Yeah.
But yeah, 5
Behrman
points.
in 7th, that really helps.
Again, it's that battle, isn't it?
Mercedes, again, epically forgettable race. 12th and 17th.
Well, they want to forget it. I mean, they've really fallen off a bit, actually.
I think
since Monaco.
I think the Mercedes is one of those cars where some tracks it absolutely lights up and becomes amazing.
Or Canada, for example.
Yeah. And then other tracks, it's just like, midfielder almost.
Well, Antonelli came 3rd in Canada and 10th in Hungary, spoilers. And those are the only points he scored in the last, 8 races.
Yeah.
He's had a really rough time of it.
But that's the kind of Mercedes pattern. It's not the kind of all-conquering weapon it used to be.
No, I mean, the 2020 Mercedes was a beast of a car. Yeah. Even like Martin Brundle would look at the onboards and go, I can't believe how stable it is in the corners. It's like it's on rails.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the sprint, I don't think much actually changed in the order, to be honest.
No.
Real qualifying. Hamilton had another issue, or was he just slow?
You say he was just slow.
I don't know whether he was or not, that's the thing.
He was slow, but I'm looking at the times. He went out of Q1. He went out in Q1 in 16th, but he was 300ths away from Bortoletto.
Yeah, I can see that.
He was like tiny fractions of a second.
But would he have gained that time back? Would he have improved? I mean, Leclerc gained half a second across the sessions, but that would have put Hamilton on a 1:41.4, which would have been 9th. So would it have been
enough? Yeah.
So even though he was just about out,
he probably wouldn't have made it out of Q2 rather.
Yeah.
He was basically the story is Hamilton struggling.
Yeah, with the Ferrari. But he also, as much as he's been despondent about it, did he not say at the start of the year that this was a throwaway year to get settled in?
Well, yeah.
Which I think is why recently after the Hungarian Grand Prix, he said, I'm still racing for them next year, everything's fine.
Yeah.
He's just being a bit melodramatic, I think.
Yeah. Unsurprisingly, overall in the qualifying,
yes,
it was Norris, Piastri and Leclerc and Verstappen.
Yeah.
Actually, yeah, that Ferrari really has... They've unlocked something.
Well, they've always been sort of, I think, the second fastest car on the grid.
We look at the constructors for a start.
Yeah, it's just that Max is driving the wheels off the Red Bull, and Hamilton's kind of struggling with the Ferrari, so it skews it a bit.
And also you've got actually Russell doing an unbelievably competent job in the Mercedes.
Yeah, McLaren just happened to be the team, probably the only team that have two drivers who are extracting the most from the car at the moment.
Yeah, because unfortunately, Tsunoda, Antonelli and Hamilton aren't.
They're all drivers that have been out in Q1 quite a lot recently, actually, haven't they?
Yeah.
But even like Sainz isn't doing quite as well as Albon. I think maybe Hadjar and Lawson and Stroll and Alonso are fairly evenly matched.
Yeah.
But
and Bortoletto and Hulkenberg, it's quite hard to get a...
But then it's a bit less sort of prominent down there because they're fighting for less points.
Yeah.
But you can see if those second, third, and fourth place teams are only really running with one driver. And that's why there's such a big deficit to McLaren, because they've actually got two drivers who are doing an incredible job, regardless of who wins the championship.
Yeah. Being
Constructors-wise, they're just dominating.
Yeah, being 1 and 2 in the championship. Now, I've looked at the starting grid, and as far as I can remember, Hamilton, Antonelli, and Alonso all either made changes.
Yeah.
Or did engine parts, and all were, in inverted commas, pit lane start.
Yeah, I'm just trying to find that. I've got so many tabs open. Results, Belgium, starting grid.
Right, so what happened? I remember this is like the dullest time to watch TV because it was hammering down with rain at the race start.
We should have been watching the F2 and F3 because they were apparently like utter carnage.
Yeah.
I think I caught a bit of it and it was just tipping it down.
And rather compared to any other race, they actually sat on the grid for 80 minutes, I think.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of toing and froing. A lot of the drivers said, well, that's just too... I think they went out on recce laps in the safety car and stuff.
Well, they at the start time,
yeah,
they went out behind the safety car. On the formation lap, they were sat on the grid under umbrellas. They started the formation lap and then aborted the start procedure because it was too wet, if I recall.
Yeah, and it was mainly the visibility.
Yeah, that's actually the big problem. The grip is fine. The wet tyres, the full wets, they do work, but they only work in the conditions where the spray is too much that they can't see anything, and that is dangerous. I think that is actually the problem. Race,
yeah. Antonelli went straight in the back of... Yeah.
Someone. Behrman?
So anyway, what's that?
He went in the back of someone, I don't remember who.
So after 80 minutes, they did a rolling start with the safety car.
Yes.
Which is actually quite a clever trick because those tyres, the rain had stopped and those tyres lift so much water off the track that they can just basically drive a dry line into it.
Yeah, if they do another lap behind the safety car, then they just get even more water shifted. And they did. At least they started the race this time.
Yeah.
And we finished the race because we all remember 2021.
Yeah.
Which was a mess.
Now Lando Norris was in the lead, and I've read an analysis corner by corner of this, and apparently Piastri did something really clever.
Yeah.
He feinted into the first corner in Belgium. And that forced Norris to go offline to defend.
Yes.
And then he just actually held in and went faster through Lecombe up onto the Kemmel Straight.
Is it Lecombe or is it La Source?
I'm just looking up the...
I'm looking at the track map, yeah, because they've got so many names.
And part of the reason he could do that is because...
That is La Source, sorry.
Yeah, Norris was in completely unknown territory. He had no idea where the grip was.
Yeah.
But obviously Piastri was watching him, so if he wasn't squirming around, he was just like, yeah, I can just go a bit faster.
Yeah.
Which is, La Source, and then by the time I think they came out onto the Kemmel Straight, and obviously with the slipstream as well, Piastri was just a bit braver and just went straight past him.
Yeah.
Which, given that it was a drying track, then meant Piastri had first choice of pit stops.
Yeah, and then that was it, really. Was this the race where, towards the end, Norris made a bunch of little mistakes that just sort of cost him a chance at the lead?
Yep. So to do the whole Piastri-Norris battle first, before we look at anybody else.
Yes.
Piastri pitted earlier onto mediums, bearing in mind that obviously a wet race, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And then Norris pitted the lap behind onto hard tyres.
Yes.
And I'm going to look at the pit stop strategy. Because then the theory was that by the end of the race, they would, Piastri on lap 12 and Norris on 13. So going from lap 12 to the end on mediums is quite brave.
Yes.
That's like 32 laps on mediums. So the idea was then that Norris would close up and his hard tyres would kind of come alive towards the end of the race.
Yeah.
The pit stop was slower because the front left was a problem for Norris. So that was a fraction of a second. And there were 3 or 4 corners where he lost a bit of time. And they added it up and they said, well, that is about 4 seconds overall. And he finished 3.4 behind Piastri.
Yes.
But whether that... You can't say, he would have won by 0.6 of a second. That might have meant... I think it's more likely to say he would have spent the last 4 or 5 laps in DRS range of Piastri.
Yeah.
Quite whether Norris would then have had the nerve to go past Piastri and whether he could have got past Piastri.
Yeah, like, you need a big delta to actually get past someone.
And it has been a bit of a Norris weakness, actually, passing.
Yeah. And
I mean, in
also
a kind of
consistency as well.
Microcosm of the whole season. Those two were within 4 seconds, let's just say, at the front. Leclerc was 20 seconds back from the leader.
Yes.
And in his own personal battle with Max Verstappen for the podium.
And Russell was sort of fairly adrift of them as well.
Yeah, he was another 13, 14 seconds behind that battle.
Hamilton was, first of all,
Yep.
the first 5 laps, he made up 8 places or something.
Yeah,
because it was a drying track. And so, it's that sort of great equaliser, isn't it, in the wet?
Yeah.
So actually, old Hamilton came out and carved through. Admittedly, Colapinto and Hadjar and Ocon and the like.
Yeah, but also people like Sainz and Hulkenberg.
Must have got past Alonso as well, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, but it was good to see he was absolutely flying. But then once it dried out, he kind of just stalled a bit in 7th.
I think I've heard he was told to lift and coast a lot by Ferrari.
Well, that's hardly surprising.
I think he stalled in 7th because, again, he wasn't allowed to push. Whether they underfueled it, whether they ran it too low.
Well, I think they probably were running it... I think they run it too low in order to, go faster in the qualifying and stuff.
Yeah.
But then, again, they have to manage the plank wear, which has been the big problem they've had all season.
Yeah, and probably also telling him to stay off the curbs a bit as well.
Yeah. But still, where did he qualify? Wasn't it 15th?
16th.
And he came 7th. I think he got driver of the day for it as well, because that is quite an impressive... Even if, yes, he's in a Ferrari, it's pretty good.
Although he started in 18th because I think they started him from the pit lane with 2 others.
But then I think the pit lane start was neutralised by the rolling start aborted stuff.
The Red Bulls, Max, did he start 4th and finish 4th? I think he did.
Let me just... starting grid... Yeah. Pretty boring race for him, I think.
Tsunoda managed to turn a 7th into a 13th somehow.
Classic. Well, it's okay. He only got overtaken by the Saubers.
That's not a good look.
To be fair, I do think the Sauber is actually a better car than most people think now.
Well, yeah, because they're starting to get Audi money, aren't they?
But also, people say, when Bortoletto got that 8th place in Austria, everyone was like, oh my god, that's amazing. But it just kept happening.
Yeah, it's got a 9th here.
So as much as I think, obviously, Bortoletto's a great driver, I do think the car is coming towards them a bit.
See, I think now, people might look back in 5-10 years and go, oh, Bortoletto getting in when they were kicked Sauber was the move of a career,
Yeah, it might be a bit like Verstappen's one-off season in Toro Rosso.
Yeah.
Or even Hamilton's 2013 in Mercedes when they were a bit crap.
Yeah, there was still a solid midfield team with race wins, so...
Yeah, but not what they were in 2014.
And also Bortoleto, and again you were saying about the stress of being a midfield driver, Bortoleto is making such a solid case for being an Audi driver.
Yeah, they're not going to ditch him. Hulkenberg might start to get a bit old and he might not want to stick around for too long.
He might, yeah.
But Bortoleto could be kind of the star driver of Audi for a good 5 or 6 years easily.
Yeah.
Maybe even longer if they're good.
And again, that's another 2 points in the bag for them.
Yeah.
Mercedes, again, George Russell quietly picked up a 5th.
Again, classic George, to be honest.
Yeah,
qualified 6th, got past Albon, which is not a massive surprise.
Yeah.
That's
Antonelli somewhere down in 16th.
Again, drying track, he's not got the experience that Hamilton has.
Yeah. Considering what the weird thing was.
Yeah.
Given it was a drying track and a sprint weekend, once they had got past the rolling start, all 20 cars finished.
Yeah, there wasn't even like a yellow flag, I don't think.
No, they said no caution periods, is what they said.
Which is quite boring. I remember watching it, there were like hardly any overtakes. Not that I ever wish anybody to spin or crash, but there was none of that either.
It's kind of expected on a long circuit like that with bad weather.
Yeah.
So that's weird.
But I think also the rookies are getting a bit more together. Because like when it was in Britain and it was wet, it was like they all DNF'd, which was kind of funny.
Lawson came up in 8th, actually.
Yeah? I think Lawson's actually started to make a bit of a case for himself as well recently.
Yeah, especially given that Hadjar was lapped down in 20th.
I think Hadjar had a problem with his car. I think afterwards they said he had damage.
Oh, okay.
To be fair, because that was kind of an anomaly, to be honest.
Gasly got the last points for Alpine.
Pretty good for Alpine.
I mean, to be honest, as we've said pretty much for the whole season, watching the Williams, Racing Bulls, Sauber, Alpine, Haas battle is almost more exciting than many points will McLaren win by.
We've been saying that since about 2018.
Yeah.
The only outliers were like 2021, when the championship battle was actually more interesting.
Yeah.
And maybe 2024 towards the end with Norris. But once Red Bull and Mercedes get to dominating, you might as well look at the midfield because it's going to be tighter and more interesting.
Yeah, and more to play for. Yeah, so that was... How are we doing for time? Do you want to dive into Hungary or do it in a separate one?
We've been going for about 42 minutes.
That's
so
kind of annoyingly in between time, isn't it?
It is. How interesting was Hungary? That's the question. I think we could squeeze it in if we were rapid. Because we've mentioned it a few times in this one already, so...
Yeah.
Were there any... I'm just quickly going to look through the FP1. Paul Aron was in a Sauber.
Yeah.
Drogovic was in a Aston Martin. That was it. It was a McLaren 1-2 with Leclerc in third.
Yep.
Actually, all of them were a McLaren 1-2 with Leclerc in third, all the practice sessions.
So I'm just looking at the qualifying as well.
Yeah, the qualifying was actually the most interesting part of the weekend, arguably.
Yeah.
Hamilton out in Q2.
Yeah, but he was actually out by hundredths of a second, and he came in 12th.
I forgot, you didn't actually watch the quali, did you?
No.
Because you were not somewhere you could watch the Formula 1.
Yeah, I was in the middle of a field with some old cars.
Yeah, but I did, so I kept you updated. Was he out by hundredths of a second? Oh yeah, if you look at...
Bortoleto was on 687.
702, yeah.
Behrman was on 694. He was on 702.
Again, if you look at Leclerc...
So if he'd made up 200ths, he would have been on 682 and got through.
Actually, Leclerc only gained 0.2 throughout the sessions. I think it's it's a much shorter track.
Yeah.
So he went from a 15.5 to a 15.3. That would have put Hamilton on a 15.5, which would have been 7th.
Yeah.
Which would have been... And actually, they gained actually no, Leclerc gained over a second from Q1 to Q2. I think that's the big killer, because that would have seen Hamilton through to Q1. But we've always said he finds the limit of the car sooner, doesn't he?
Yeah.
He doesn't tend to improve like the top guys at the moment do. What was it? It must have been... I think it was colder in Q3 than it was in Q2. Or something. Because Piastri actually lost from Q1 to Q3. He was a tenth slower.
I mean, what's more interesting again is that 4 of the top teams got... Oh no, Max qualified down in 8th. That's unusual.
Behind Bortoleto.
Yeah, behind both Aston Martins and Bortoleto, who again is really lighting things up.
It was a really weird quali session. I don't remember why. Like, I don't remember what happened to make Q3 so mixed up.
Yeah.
It's something to do with the weather. It didn't rain. Well, it did rain a bit in Q2, but it passed quick enough for it not to matter. I think there was a cloud or something.
Yeah.
Qualifying cloud, as Martin Brundle called it.
I mean, it's weird. Both Racing Bulls got into Q3, and Bortoleto, and both Aston Martins.
Because Antonelli again struggled. Tsunoda. It's actually the classic trio now: Tsunoda, Antonelli, and Hamilton.
Yeah.
But yeah, also Hulkenberg in 19th to Bortoleto 7th is actually quite significant.
Yeah, like I say, Bortoleto is really... And like he's in a good position because, as we said, he's not under scrutiny.
Yeah, actually I'm just thinking back as well. Leclerc had that one season in a Sauber before he went to a Ferrari. And I remember people saying he's going to be the next big thing because he's really good in the Sauber.
I mean, we've done those analysis of like the GOAT where they convert all the points since 1950 into 2025 or, you know, the recent point scoring system.
Yeah.
And even if you work out points per race entered, because obviously people are doing 24 races now and they were doing 6 back then or 8.
Yeah.
Leclerc is, there's a kind of boundary between, no offence to them, but the kind of single or double Nico Rosberg's, Mika Hakkonen's, world champions, and then you get into the kind of Senna's and Prosts and Pattels. Yeah. And Leclerc is kind of on that boundary. He's really scarily consistent, I think that's what it is.
He's actually in a big clump of... you sent it to me, I've just found the list. Yeah, so it's like Hamilton, Verstappen, Prost, Schumacher, Fangio. But then it goes like... Oh, God, it's jumping around. It goes Raikkonen, Piquet, Hakkinen, Leclerc. He's like actually in among... And then like Niki Lauda's further down. Emerson Fittipaldi, Bruce McLaren, Nigel Mansell.
So it's kind of in a group of world champions.
Yeah. And he's ahead of like Bottas, like Massa, Webber, Graham Hill, Button. He's up there.
And he's always consistently scoring points.
I think he's the highest never champion actually.
Oh, easily.
I mean, Coulthard is right behind him, to be fair to Coulthard, because he also didn't have a championship. And then Bottas there as well. I don't think Carlos Reutemann did either. This is a massive tangent.
Isn't Reutemann the only one who had a posthumous championship?
No, that was somebody else. I don't remember who, though. Might have been Peroni.
Now, I'm going to talk, while you're looking up weird stuff, I'm going to talk about the Hungarian Grand Prix. Where's the starting grid? Yeah, Leclerc started on pole, and actually, as most people commented, for the first 40-odd laps, I think it was like a 70-lap race.
Yeah, because it's a short track, Hungary.
Yeah. Leclerc had it down. He was winning.
Yeah.
He was holding off both McLarens. McLaren split their strategy. Piastri had a 2-stop on mediums and hards.
Yeah.
And they put Norris onto a 1-stop, which kind of... I think it was a last chance saloon for him, because he got swamped at the start and dropped down to 5th.
Yeah.
So they risked it and put him onto hards, and it actually played out in his favour. Piastri stopped again on 45. He stopped on 18th and 45. And Norris made the starting mediums go out till into the 30s, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And then Leclerc's pace just disappeared.
Well, Leclerc actually was shouting at the team in the cockpit, saying, "I told you this would happen. I warned you about it. Why the hell didn't you listen to me?"
It's the longest message I've ever seen displayed on the screen. It went down almost to the bottom of the screen.
And it's Leclerc's again quite a kind of calm driver usually, and it was actually revealed afterwards. I'm almost getting bored of myself saying it. Guess what it was?
It was plank wear.
Yeah, and apparently, I don't think they had this much variation allowed in the rules, but apparently the final set of tyres had a higher pressure.
Yes, there is a pressure thing. So what I saw
Yeah.
was Alex Brundle, who is Martin Brundle's son and also a racing driver in his own right.
Yeah.
He put a bunch of Instagram stories up.
Yeah.
Where he talked about what he thought the problem was with Ferrari's plank wear.
Yeah.
So he said they've got plank wear problems. The car is at its lowest ride height when the tyres are worn and low pressure and at high speed. So they've been doing lift and coast, which Hamilton has had problems with as well.
Yeah.
But the Hungaroring is a very high downforce circuit, so the car is always close to the track.
Yeah.
Charles said it was undrivable, and George mentioned that it was slow in the straights.
Yeah.
So he thinks that they turned the engine down, remotely, to reduce the high speed, which reduces the downforce and then the plank wear at the end of the straight. And then they also increased the tyre pressure when he had his pit stop. I don't know if he did a 1 or a 2 stop, Leclerc.
I think it was a 2 stop. I think it was the second stop.
Pit stop summary. I think it was. Yeah, he pitted on 19, and then he pitted on 40, and I think that's when he suddenly noticed that the car was undrivable.
Yeah.
Brundle thinks that they put higher pressure tyres on.
Yeah.
He mentions that Ferrari said that they couldn't do a 1 stop because they needed that high tyre pressure at the end to reduce the plank wear.
Yeah.
But that made them very, very slow because high tyre pressures are rubbish. Because they've got less contact patch and therefore less mechanical grip, regardless of downforce.
It was quite shocking because in 30 laps, he lost 42.5 seconds.
Yeah.
Which is over 1.4 per lap. He actually went from the lead to 4th place.
He said it would be a miracle if we finished on the podium.
And actually, George Russell overtook him and then went just about 20 seconds ahead.
Yeah, it is absolutely dire for Ferrari to. I mean, it's Ferrari Masterclass pole to 4th.
Yeah, but normally pole to 4th is a pit stop strategy mess.
Well, it kind of was, but it's also just a car problem.
I mean, afterwards he did apologise to the team and say, "Oh, it was a chassis problem."
Well, it is. The chassis is too low to the ground.
Yeah, to generate the downforce.
I think I saw a stat, which is Leclerc has won, I think, one of his last 10 pole positions.
Yeah.
Which I think must have been Monaco.
Yeah.
There was a point at which, it might still be true, Verstappen had won more races from Leclerc's poles than he had.
Well, it's like Lando Norris really tried to win from pole, didn't he?
Yeah, and he's always bottling the start, Norris, I remember that.
World Championship. Because, again, it was the kind of classic, like you say, tyre delta. Norris was out there on old hards. Piastri was on new mediums. Yeah. And actually, just for once, we saw the ice-cold new Iceman Piastri melt a bit.
Well, we saw it a bit in Britain as well.
Yeah.
I remember.
He tried a late lunge up the inside of Norris and actually locked up and nearly hit him.
Yes.
Which, hasn't been the story so far.
No, yeah. Again, generally Piastri's racecraft has been better than Norris's. He's been a bit more calculated and, like that move in Belgium that you talked about.
Yeah.
Also, Leclerc was 21 seconds back. He did also get a 5-second penalty for swerving into, what's his face?
Russell. Oh, yeah, he was really, really scrappy defending from...
Like, the first time he moved a bit late, and George, as George does, got on the radio and said, that's a penalty.
I mean...
And the commentators were like, George is trying on a bit. But then the second time, even the commentators were like, that's just ridiculous.
Yeah, the whole moving under braking.
I think even Leclerc would say that wasn't on, because he was just frustrated.
Yeah. Now, Norris won that race.
Yes.
And what makes that really interesting is, because we all love the stats here.
Yes.
Of the current drivers on the grid,
Europe.
Lewis Hamilton obviously has 105 race wins.
Is it 5? I thought it was 4.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia page.
Okay.
Max has 65.
Yes.
Alonso has 32.
Yeah.
Do you want me to send you the link, or I can hear you typing?
I'm looking at it.
But Leclerc, Piastri and Norris going into Hungary were all together on 8.
They were, yes. Which, to be fair,
yes,
a bit rubbish for Leclerc, given that he's been in F1 for 5 years more than Piastri.
Yeah. And, well, Norris has been in it for 6 years. 4 years longer than Piastri.
Yeah.
But now Norris, of the kind of current F1 drivers, Norris has moved up a step.
Yeah.
He's now 4th in race wins among the current grid.
Yes.
Because other people we think of as really good, I'm looking for the actual tag. Sainz and Russell are both on 4th.
Which is, it is weird that Russell especially has only got 4 victories.
And Ocon and Gasly both have 1.
Yeah, I remember those races.
Yeah.
Which is, I think it's about time we had another one of those, to be honest.
That's all the race winners on the grid.
I'd like to see Hadjar win.
Yeah.
Oh, he's French as well. French RB driver.
Actually, the top 5 in Hungary were all race winners.
Yeah.
Because it was Norris, Piastri, Russell, Leclerc and Alonso.
Yeah. If Hamilton had been up there, it would have been all off. Oh no, there's also Sainz.
Yeah,
and
Max.
Gasly.
Ocon.
Yeah.
Max came in 9th in an epically forgettable race, rather.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell happened.
I think they just weren't set up for the track. Antonelli actually scored 1 point for 10th.
Yeah, decent recovery.
Again, Liam Lawson must have been grinning from one side of his face to the other. He beat Verstappen.
Yeah. And Hadjar as well. Actually, a very good race for Lawson. A good couple of races, actually.
In the midfield battle, it went Alonso 5th, Bortoletto 6th, Stroll 7th. So I think that's propelled Aston Martin to the top of that particular tree now.
Yeah, by a point.
1 point.
But also, Bortoletto is 6th. His best finish ever. He's had an awesome, 4 races.
Well, he's just starting to settle into that team, I think.
Yeah, I mean, he DNF'd in Britain, but then Hulken podium, so
Yeah.
Sauber have actually scored points in all of the last 9 races.
And depending on where you cut the line, they're almost certainly outscoring Red Bull at this point.
Oh yeah, I mean, Sauber outscored Red Bull. I think Hulkenberg outscored Verstappen for a few races because of that podium.
Bortoletto outscored Verstappen in this race by 6 points.
Yeah.
And given that Hulkenberg and Tsunoda didn't score, that's it.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think that's about it.
Yeah.
I mean,
I said about Antonelli. Hamilton obviously gave his really famous comment saying, "I'm just useless, maybe Ferrari should change the driver."
I think that's just Hamilton being Hamilton.
Yeah.
I mean, you remember back at Mercedes, the tyres are dead. That was his classic line.
Yeah.
and then he'd put in the fastest lap.
Yeah.
I think he just gets emotional and gets melodramatic and just needs to get it out.
Yeah.
Once he's debriefed and once he's spoken to the team and calmed down, I think he's like, well, we'll just move forward and see what needs to be done.
Like we said last time, he is making plans for 2026 and trying to change the organisation, so it's not the talk of somebody who's about to quit.
Well, on that, I think in between the last podcast and this one, because it's been a while, Vasseur did get extended, actually.
Yeah, which people were thinking Horner might go.
God, I hope that didn't happen. But that is very good, actually.
I don't think Horner would go to Ferrari because, weirdly, I was thinking about this, Horner had a better contract than nearly all of his drivers. Horner is still a Red Bull employee.
Is he?
Yeah, he has been removed from his duties as team principal. He has now been voted out as one of the directors of Red Bull Racing. I believe he's been removed from his position as head of Red Bull Powertrains, but he has a contract up until 2030 at $20 million a year for Red Bull.
Yes.
And given it's in Britain, you can't just fire somebody without giving them a reason and going through a grievance procedure.
Yeah, I'm just reading. He's been removed as the director.
Yeah.
I don't know if that means he doesn't still work for them or not.
I think he's on gardening leave, technically.
Yeah. But again, he wouldn't just have, on Monday, no longer been involved at all.
No. Well, he was. I mean, that's it, literally. He went in on Wednesday and that was his last time in the office.
Yeah, but legally he still would have been...
paid, yeah.
He's actually unable to be able... He can't join a new team until January 2026, according to this crappy clickbait article.
And what we've always said is actually coming to be true. They think his solicitors are sitting down with RB solicitors to try and negotiate his exit package, basically paying him enough to walk away from his contract.
Yeah.
And they're saying the reason he wants that to be as high as possible, because obviously on $20 million a year and married to a Spice Girl, he doesn't need the money.
Yeah.
Is because he wants to buy his way into the next team.
Yeah.
He wants to be a part owner.
And I wonder who that would be. I mean, Audi maybe.
Yeah, I mean, to be honest.
Cadillac.
Alpine.
They do need a team principal, don't they, Cadillac?
And I think Alpine are the most likely, because, again, Alpine haven't actually got a solid team principal, and I think bits of it might be up for sale.
I mean, Alpine's a bit of a mess.
Yeah.
It would take someone like Horner to come in and just take it and, reshape it completely.
What, like he did with Jaguar when they became Red Bull?
Well, maybe.
Yeah, and also I've been hearing rumours that when he told the factory floor, it was really a shock and people were really upset. And people are watching, and I think there's a lot of vacancies now at Red Bull. I know they sacked two of the communications director and somebody else. Marketing, because they were Horner's people.
Yes.
But I think that overall feeling that the Verstappen-Marco block have won has kind of unsettled the team a bit.
Yeah. But also it's like they've won, but Verstappen came 9th in Hungary, so...
Yeah, what have they won?
At what cost? They've lost Newey, they've lost Horner, they've lost...
Wheatley?
Yeah, Wheatley, who's now at Audi, Sauber Audi, who are doing really well. I mean, Jonathan Wheatley's car outscored Verstappen.
Yeah.
So it's like, they've won, but at what cost? They've got complete control of the team, but the team isn't actually there, because the people have gone.
Yeah. Oh, that's what I was going to say.
Yeah.
Once, literally, Horner got sacked after the British Grand Prix.
Yes.
Whatever you want to read into sack.
Which actually was such a big thing, it necessitated us splitting it into 2 podcasts. Because the British Grand Prix was also carnage.
But then, at the British Grand Prix, they interviewed Toto Wolff. And he said, oh no, I think both my drivers are happy and feel secure.
What, he suddenly didn't want Verstappen anymore?
And then, at Hungary, Verstappen said, oh, there's been too much speculation. Of course I'll be racing for Red Bull in 2026.
Oh.
Now, there's two ways I could look at this. You could either say it's an orchestrated campaign to make Horner look weak, to feed, and they did say a lot of the rumours about Verstappen leaving were coming from either Jos Verstappen or Helmut Marko.
Mm.
And once those rumours had done their job and got rid of Christian Horner, they just like switched off the rumour machine.
Yeah.
Or it could be that Max was unhappy with Christian and was actively looking to leave.
Yeah.
But then, why would he be unhappy with the guy who's bought him 4 world titles?
I don't know. Well, something else must have been going on.
Yeah.
Like maybe, well, if Horner was sort of clashing horns with Jos,
Yeah.
you know, as messed up as Jos is, Max is still loyal to him.
Yeah.
But also, I think Max was also just... I think people at Mercedes confirmed that Max and Toto and top Mercedes people had meetings.
Yeah.
So I think he's also unhappy with the performance of the team because they've gone backwards.
Yeah, and also maybe he just wants a nice, quiet, calm working environment.
Yeah, and Horner had those accusations, apart from everything else, that he was like controlling and, you know, shouty.
Yeah, maybe they just didn't want it to... Yeah.
I've always sort of thought that Red Bull had a bit of a sort of toxic vibe to them.
Well, I mean...
I'm not entirely surprised that it's sort of collapsed as dramatically as it has.
No. And I mean, it was... Horner was always the one with the mind games and, you know, like the Silverstone 2021 crash where he was like, oh my god, my driver's in hospital and Lewis is like spraying champagne on the podium. How disrespectful.
Yeah.
He tried to kill him and now he's celebrating. It's like... And that was just one of many, many kind of mind game.
Yeah, I mean, he always got into it with like the people from Renault and then Toto Wolff during 2021. And then even Zach Brown recently, but I think Zach Brown sort of just blanked him and just refused to engage, which has sort of left him looking a bit silly.
Yeah, because he just made that throwaway comment, you know, they said, well, if Verstappen leaves, who will we go for? And he just laughed and said, well, we'll look at Piastri.
Yeah, and I
just
think Zach Brown didn't even acknowledge it. He was just like, yeah, okay.
It's just
sure.
Horner was just looking for any weakness to try and kind of get a bit of a mind game.
It's a bit of a bully, really, isn't it? It's not just like trying to get a rise and a reaction.
Mm.
Yeah. Oh well.
So that was 2 Grand Prix in one epic podcast.
Pretty boring Grand Prix, but significant.
Well, they kind of had their moments, didn't they?
Yeah, and now Piastri and Norris 9 points separated.
Yeah, 2 weeks until the Dutch Grand Prix, which is again a bit...
I don't know what it's like, the Dutch Grand Prix. Who won it last time?
It's quite a
Norris did.
It's quite a short track.
It's short, twisty. It's got the elevation changes.
It's got a bit of banking.
It's a bit like Hungary,
Max
really.
Verstappen fans.
Yeah, Max might get a bit of a home crowd boost. I'd expect to see him on the podium.
Yeah.
Which
again leaves, you know, where the Piastri and Norris fit in. And
yeah. And then what's after that? Italy. Really hope Ferrari have got their stuff together by then.
Yeah.
At Monza. And then, then we're into like the Asian and American stuff.
Yeah, I'm looking at the schedule now.
We're in the second half now, definitely. We're sort of getting towards the end of it.
Oh, the home run, yeah.
But it's still so close between Norris and Piastri.
Yeah, and everybody's predicting a kind of post-Senna like fallout, and it's still not.
Or even a Hamilton-Rosberg.
Yeah.
But Hamilton-Rosberg was like 3 seasons of competing against each other.
Yeah.
But I don't think it'll happen.
No.
Because even in Canada we had that, and it could have been. But then Norris just said, yeah, that was my fault, it was a stupid move.
Yeah.
And that was that. And even when Piastri got annoyed at the penalty, he wasn't annoyed at Norris, he was annoyed at the FIA.
Yeah. Yeah. Interestingly, and I know this sounds a lot like a kind of what do you call it? Like a celebrity magazine thing. I think there's actually probably a bit of validity in it. Rumours are there's a new Portuguese actor/stroke model girlfriend being seen in the McLaren pits. But given how much Norris is heart on his sleeve and confidence based, people are saying the fact he's won the last three out of the last four races.
Yes.
I mean, people have always said the only thing missing from Norris's makeup is a kind of calm, settled self-belief. So
yeah.
it might be that somebody who's on his side, who's just like, no, you're great, keep at it. That might be what he needs. Which,
maybe.
on the other side of the coin, Hamilton has come out and said after he split up with Nicole Scherzinger 10 years ago,
yeah,
he's deliberately not had a girlfriend.
Yeah.
And he actually said the times in your life when you are a top flight racing driver out of your whole life is actually a relatively short period.
Yeah.
And he'd rather devote all of his energy towards it and all of his focus, because then he's got the rest of his life for relationships and fun and everything else.
I think it worked though, didn't it?
Yeah, I think it's two different personalities, I think.
But I mean, you look at Rosberg, he won the championship in 2016, his wife and his kids were on the radio, and then he quit.
Yeah.
Because he was like, he had to basically shut them off.
Yeah.
For a year to beat Hamilton.
Yeah.
But then Hamilton just turned around and won the next 3 championships in a row because he doesn't have any of that.
Yeah.
So it's like it is two different approaches.
4 in a row.
Yeah, God. It's 2 different approaches to life.
And it seems that, I hate to be kind of gossip magazine-y, but it seems that it's working for Norris at the moment.
Yeah, quite a lot of them. You often see their partners in the garage because, to be sort of cynical, they're rich European F1 drivers, so their partners tend to be rich European models.
Yeah.
So the cameras like to really put a lens on them sometimes. Yeah. I do wonder if one of them had shock and horror, a male partner. Would they focus in on them as much?
Yeah.
I think they
there's
should.
a big... I mean, we could do 2.5 extra podcasts about, masculinity in sport and how dangerous it is to come out as anything other than...
Yeah.
I was actually thinking if they had, a slightly dumpy girlfriend whose BMI was, over about 20.
What, just a slightly homely sort of
Yeah.
Yeah. Would they show that? It must be, I think, presumably some of the F1 drivers must have a girlfriend of that description. It's just we don't ever see them.
Yeah. I mean, I did see it, and my first thought was for Norris, that's really unoriginal. Racing driver has actress/model as girlfriend.
To be fair, they're not dissimilar jobs, really.
No.
If you think about being a proper top flight model is actually quite harsh because you've got to lose all that weight, which is a massive problem.
Yeah.
You've got to fly all the way around the world. You're in front of a camera a lot.
Yeah, under lots of scrutiny.
I mean, I'm going to be away for this weekend for the race. Well, that's okay. I've got a shoot with Vogue magazine in, Switzerland. So
yeah,
it kind of.
They probably do understand each other. Anyway, we've gone off topic again, and I'm sure this is a long podcast.
We've got into proper tabloid territory.
Yeah. No, it's just more of his kind of state of mind, it seems to be working at the moment.
Yeah. Wikipedia said he had an on and off again relationship with her.
Yeah. Yeah, it's complicated. It's like Portuguese margarita something, isn't it?
Yeah, margarita something. I don't remember.
But, yeah. Anyway, shall we wrap this up?
Yeah, that's a long podcast, but not egregiously long.
And we've got 2 weeks until we go to Netherlands.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay then, well, thank you for listening. I'm Graham Miller.
Yep.
Also known as Graham H. Miller when I write books. I might put links in. I can't really put links in on the podcast, can I?
No, I suppose not.
Toby is also official Tibby.
Yep.
Doing his YouTube channel. We'll talk to you probably in about 3 weeks to analyse the Netherlands Grand Prix and see how the world title is going.
Yeah. Should be interesting, hopefully. Yep. Hopefully it's interesting.
Yeah, it should be alright, I think.
I think it was wet last year, so it was a bit more... Or the year before that, I don't remember.
Okay then. Yeah, we'll talk to you next time. Goodbye.
Bye.